2014, LEGO expanded their line of products marketed towards girls with the Disney Princess theme, making it the second theme ever to feature mini-dolls. The first one was, of course, LEGO Friends, which debuted in 2012. The Disney Princess sets focused on building scenery from famous Disney movies, so the kids could easily recreate scenes or make up their own. I'm mainly interested in the mini-dolls and how they differ from the ones you can buy in sets today, 2021. But I will take a look at the sets first to put the whole theme into a broader context. BrickoMotion. Hello, Claire here. Today I'm taking a look at the Disney Princess line from 2014, just as I've already looked at the LEGO Friends line in 2012, 2013 and 2014. And more is yet to come. So here we are looking at 2014. We got a total of 6 sets, I'm not counting the Rapunzel polybag, that were based on 4 Disney movies. Cinderella, that came in 1950, The Little Mermaid came out in 1989, Tangled came out in 2010, and Brave came to us in 2012. The prices of the sets ranged from 13 euros to 70 euros. The older princesses, Ariel from The Little Mermaid and Cinderella from Cinderella, got 2 sets each, while for the newer ones, Merida from Brave and Rapunzel from Tangled, 1 was apparently enough. I assume Cindy and Ariel got included in most sets because of their well-known, timeless popularity, while Merida and Rapunzel weren't as time-tested. The only thing they had going for them was that they were the newest addition to the Disney Princess franchise, and therefore still fresh in the audience's memory. Here I feel I need to address the missing elephant in the room, which is Frozen. The movie came out in 2013, so in hindsight, this would have been the perfect time to sell Elsa's ice castle. Perfect. But LEGO hadn't made any. What gives? I think that's due to 2 factors. First is that Anna and Elsa weren't, and still aren't, a part of the Disney Princess franchise. Therefore, LEGO would have had to buy a separate license to create anything Frozen related. LEGO, of course, did that when they saw what a phenomenon the movie had become. But the 41062 Ice Castle didn't come out until 2015. That, I believe, is also due to the second factor. LEGO takes a long time to produce a set. Almost as long as I take to produce a video. All the testing and making sure that the set breaks in the right way if a child falls on it means that up to 3 years can pass for an idea to turn into a set on the shelf. And, although it's very hard to believe this now, in 2012, nobody expected Frozen to be a hit, especially not this big of a hit. So, no Frozen sets were produced in 2014. Let's get back to the sets we did get in 2014. How many times will I say 2014 in this video? A lot. The recommended age for this theme was 5 to 12 years, which explains all of my following statements. The buildable parts focused on shrunken and simplified buildings, built with large pieces and open backs, for ease of play and to keep the cost of the set down. The colors used are mostly a mix of neutral and bright, with some golden details. Wherever the set needs a splash of color, the designers put in a few flowers, gems or stickers. And I'm here for it. Those relatively cheap details elevate the otherwise bland buildings. Keeping the 5 to 12-year-olds still in mind, at least one animal is included in every set. Lego tried to make the animals relevant to the stories, and they mostly succeeded at that. What happened with 41052, I can only guess. Their budget for new molds most likely ran out, so instead of the red crab Sebastian, they included a generic green frog. Oh well. In 2015, they managed to squeeze in Sebastian into the budget, so we only needed to wait another year to get him. Other animal companions are all great. I particularly love Merida's brothers, the three little bears. Not only are they adorable, they are also unique. The 41051 set was and still is the only one to feature them. And now I can finally focus on the minidolls. There were 9 of them, 6 female and 3 male, which for a minidoll based set is actually really good. In fact, 1/3 to 2/3 split is the best ratio we have gotten in any minidoll theme ever to this date, end of 2021. The not so good statistic is that all of the dolls represent Caucasian characters. Taking into account the source material and that this is the first year of the theme, I can see how the distribution came to be. It doesn't mean it's fine, just that I don't think Lego could have done it much differently that year. Later, when they knew the line sells, they should have tried more. But I'll get to that when I analyze the following years. The male hair pieces are all borrowed from minifigure lines. Boring. On the female side, Cindy, Ariel and Rapunzel got a new hair molds and Merida got a recolor. Now, that's interesting. The 3 new hairstyles have been recolored in the following years, as they should have been. The faces are printed in the same smiling style as in the Lego Friends theme. Lego didn't even try to capture the personality or likeness of any princess. They just reused Emma's face for Rapunzel and Stephanie's for both Cindy and Merida. Very lazy, Lego. Very lazy. The princess, in this particular case, had way more luck. Since there basically weren't any male minidoll faces to copy, they each got a new face print. While I like all of the 3 faces, Flynn's, from Tangled, is the one with most character and therefore my favorite. Some of the outfit choices Lego made are fascinating, so let's discuss. Each minidoll prince wears the same ensemble they wore for the majority of the respected movie. That's fine and expected. The same is also true for Merida and Rapunzel. Curious are Cinderella's and Ariel's attires. Cindy changes her clothes several times during her movie, and her most memorable dress is, without a doubt, the magically created one. No wonder Lego chose it. Twice. Now, there's a whole thing about how the dress was originally grey, and then Disney changed it to blue, and they keep changing it every now and again, and it doesn't matter. The point is that Lego apparently looked at all of these dress variations and decided to add yet another 2 to the mix. I personally would have appreciated one of the Cindys to be in her work clothes or in the pink dress her stepsisters destroyed. Oh yeah, spoiler alert for a 1950s cartoon. That way, we would have been able to recreate the bibbidi bobbidi boo scene. But alas, even 7 years later, we only have the lower half of the dress. Ariel's delightfully unusual situation of changing species several times during the movie made it unnecessary to create her both as a mermaid and as a human. The mermaid outfit was a no-brainer, as it's the only one we have seen Ariel in. The human one, however, was much more difficult to decide. At least I assume it was, as I wasn't actually in the room while the dresses were discussed. But I can guesstimate the logic behind the decision. Let's not do the wedding dress yet. Let's make it one of the other dresses Ariel wore. Yeah, the sparkly one from the end of the movie, way too similar to Rapunzel's one. Yeah, so that won't do. And speaking of the other princesses, oh my colors! We have no princess in a pink dress. Did Ariel ever wear a pink dress? She did? For like 5 seconds, and only to point out how she didn't fit into the human world at that point? But she did. Excellent. We're doing that. Overall, the mini doll dresses are monochromatic with a few subtle sparkle prints and just a touch of metallic paints. However, I hesitate to call them bad. Yes, compared to the Disney mini dolls you can buy today, the 2014 ones seem simple and dull. But I remember when they came out, and I immediately had the strong urge to have them all. That was the state back then. No better princess mini dolls existed, therefore these ones were the best. I think back then LEGO was figuring out what to do with both the mini dolls and the Disney Princess franchise. They had to start with something, and I don't think this was a bad start at all. I would also argue that some of the newer mini dolls have too much detail on them, but I'll get to that in a future video, maybe. If you're wondering why I've only compared Cindy, Ariel and Rapunzel to their newer selves and not Merida, that's because there is no newer Merida. The movie Brave wasn't a big hit, and the set presumably didn't sell well. Luckily for us, the other sets seem to have sold well enough that the theme is still around 7 years later, even though it's now simply called Disney and the recommended age is 4+, still the same thing. And the biggest conclusion I have drawn from creating this video is that I should have bought at least 10 Merida's Castle sets back then when they were cheap and available. But I'm glad I didn't buy 10 Cindy's carriages, because we got a whole caravan worth of Cindy's carriages in the following years. Until the next time you click on one of my videos, bye bye. Yes, I know that Flynn/Eugene isn't technically a prince, but I don't care. I'm not calling them males the whole time.